Welcome back to Rounding the Bases, Extra Innings with Jason Benetti. Jason, I got 4 final questions as we round the bases here. The first is this. I'm looking over elements of your bio, right? Syracuse, bachelor in journalism, economics, and psychology. Wake Forest, law. Esteemed baseball and other sports announcer. And I'm reading, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'd like for you to expand on it. Possible aspirations to become a crossword puzzle champion. Is this true?
I am a little obsessed with crossword puzzles. I do the New York Times puzzle every day. I may or may not have given a friend of mine or multiple friends of mine crosswords that I created for their birthdays, which is like either super clever and generous or hyper cheap. But
maybe both.
Yeah, no, it's probably both. I am a big crossword enthusiast. I love words and I love the cluing of crosswords.
Because crossword puzzles are a tradition in big league clubhouses. In the old days, they'd have the newspaper out. Now they've got printouts of all of them, every single clubhouse. But some people may know that, some people may not. Have you come across anyone in the baseball world that can complete them at your level?
There's no good answer to that makes me feel good.
So no.
Well, I do them so often, and I'm like a little in the world of crossword compiling sort of thing. Like since I've dabbed, I don't enjoy doing the USA Today, and I also specifically hate when people look over my shoulder while I'm doing a puzzle. So it's never been a group effort for me. So I generally don't do that in clubhouses because I don't like being like, oh, 2 is algae.
Yeah. I don't have the patience for it. I like the Wordle thing's okay, provided you don't share your score with everyone. That's I don't get that. I don't care what somebody else's score is. A couple of our players, Brad Keller, a good friend of Tim Anderson's, that's in the past. He gave me, what's the name of the game again? It's I can't believe I'm blanking on this now. It's a word game that Waffle. It's called Waffle. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
It's probably it's on the easier side, but you basically have to come up with words in every line, and they give you letters that are in the right or wrong spot, and some you don't know, and you have a certain amount of moves where you have to slide them, and they all fit into different words in the boxes, so they all have to fit into one puzzle.
I like that.
It's a little easier for someone with my attention span, I think. I like the Sudoku better. Anyway, second question, do you still play the tuba? I know you played the tuba as a kid. How were you?
I was first chair out of 1 in some bands I was in. I think you could describe me as like a 1-win tuba player, like 1 war. Like I was fine / good-ish for my high school, but I don't play anymore. My parents still have the tuba, but I do not play anymore.
All right. Third question. This is more broadcasting and travel related. I think there are a lot of people that see this that have travel nightmare schedules with whatever they do. I remember there was a weekend series a handful of years back where you were there like on a Friday night, but then you were gone, but then you were back and you'd done a football game somewhere else. And I'm like, how is he doing all of this? I wanted to share mine quickly. It's not as sexy as your stuff because it was lower level, but a bunch of years ago, I was doing a college hockey game at the University of Denver. It was DU against somebody, and it was, I think probably like 0.5% of the country was seeing it. No one in the country was seeing it, but they were seeing it like in Denver and whatever other market. So I'm doing that on a Friday night, and then I was asked to do a doubleheader Division II college basketball game the next day in Fort Lauderdale. It was going to be later in the afternoon. And I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And so it was like women's and then men's. And so I got a red eye from Denver to Fort Lauderdale. And it was Spirit Airlines. It's the only time I flew them. No offense to anybody in the Spirit Frontier world now. And I thought I was going to sleep the whole plane. It showed an empty row, but it was packed. So I was uncomfortable. I didn't sleep. And I fall asleep like right before we're about to land. But then I get woken up and I hear the pilot saying that due to intense fog in Fort Lauderdale, we're going to have to circle Tampa. And we kept circling, and we're going to circle Tampa until we don't have any more fuel, which is always something nice to say but and then we're going to land. So we landed, but there was nowhere to park. So we just sat wherever off to the side until they finally found a gate, and they said you can go get breakfast or go to the bathroom and then just come back, and we're going to go to Fort Lauderdale. And when I was getting back on the plane, everybody was walking off, and I hear the announcement, due to FAA regulations, our crew can no longer fly. And I'm looking at the lines and the flight times, and so I made a beeline to the rental car place, and I rented. They had one thing left. It was a minivan, and I'm still wearing the same suit from the night before. And I drive from Tampa to Fort Lauderdale on 1 hour of sleep, and stayed awake. I pulled in 2 minutes before the open. Yeah, I'd never met the producer. I'd never met the partner. It was just, I don't mean to demean it. It was just Division II. It was fine, and it was just pure adrenaline. I did the women's game. They got me like a triple latte at intermission. Then I did the men's game, and then my buddy that I grew up with in Chicago, who lives down there, he's an ER doctor, said, okay, we got to go out tonight. And so then I went out with him because I hadn't seen him in, a couple years. Anyway, do you have a crazy travel? I just killed way too much time telling that, but that was mine.
That's so don't any travel story, no matter mine actually involves a high school football game. So we were in Mississippi, and then ESPN radio called during the week and said, we want you to fill in for USC and Stanford college football on ESPN radio. And I had never done college football on ESPN radio, and they wanted me there as early as I possibly could. So my spotter and I, football, every announcer has a spotter to help point at who's doing what on the field. And so my spotter and I, who's a friend of mine from high school, my spotter and I get in the car. We drive 4.5 hours from Mississippi to the Atlanta airport, sleep an hour and a half in the Atlanta airport hotel. I go bring back the rental car. He takes the tram. I say, hey, we'll meet at the gate. I get to security and I realize my driver's license is not in my wallet. I've lost my driver's license in the rental car. I begged my way through security. They let me through somehow. It was like, you ever play poker with somebody who doesn't know the rules? They're like, I got a jack, a 10, a 6, a 4, and a 2. Is this anything? Like I had a Panera card, a AAA card, like a Disney ID. It was like, hey, an old Kohl's gift card. And it was like, is this stuff? Are you okay with this? And they let me through. And I got on the plane. I basically called my spotter. I was like, Adam, just sit on the jetway and cry. Like, just have a breakdown of some kind. And he was like, I'm not doing that. I said, what kind of friend are you? And so I made it by like 2 minutes and got on the plane, and we did the game. But he was basically asleep because, he didn't have the adrenaline of doing the game. So I'm doing the game, and he's basically like passed out on the stairs at halftime. It was awesome.
We never forget those, no doubt about it. All right, last question, the walk-off. I'm not going to ask you to sing because I feel like as we're recording this, it's 11:15 in the morning, and I feel like you're still probably waking up. I mean, if you want to, you can. But I for anybody that's ever seen Jason, you could probably find some of it on Twitter. We always make awful announcing. And I say we, it's just because I'm the one that asks you and then you do it. But I think it started because you'd worked with our director, Steve Kurtenbach. And I don't remember. I think that there was like a Backstreet Boys concert at Wrigley that weekend. And I just made a joke saying, hey, I know you've worked with our director, Steve Kurtenbach, but apparently he's not coming tonight because he's going to the North Side to go see the Backstreet Boys at Wrigley. And I was just trying to be silly. And then you started singing Backstreet Boys. And so then it was like on demand for years. We haven't done it for a little bit. Maybe we'll break it out again this year of just show tunes and things like that. And then immediately awful announcing takes it because I don't know why. I guess my question, if I'm not going to ask you to sing, is there's a fearlessness, or I don't know what, like I would just be like, oh, I don't want to do that. People are gonna. I don't have a good voice. Maybe you have a better voice than me. I don't know. Like I'm too scared to do something like that. you don't seem to have that fear.
Uh,
Or do you?
no, I just think what always courses through my mind is I'd rather do something different. And I know that the way creativity works is sometimes you miss, right? Like sometimes you're not going to hit and you might as well try. And to me, like I've always been like borderline okay as a singer, so I'm not going to miss every note. And so we're going to go ahead and just try and see what it's like, because I lived for long enough like worried about what people thought of me. And at some point you just say, you know, I don't really know why I'm doing this anymore. Like the only way to really live is to see what's inside of you. And like it led it led to, you know, when 2020, when the pandemic really was, you know, we were all inside and we were doing all this stuff. I did this thing called Sportscaster Scenes with random play-by-play announcers, and we would recreate movie scenes. So like Dan Dockett and I did the courtroom scene from A Few Good Men, and we just reenacted it. But Kevin Brown, who's the voice of the Orioles now, and I did the confrontation from Les Mis, where Javert and Valjean are like singing at each other. Because we were inspired by Jason Segel and Neil Patrick Harris. They've done that on multiple talk shows where they were on set sometime and they just memorized and they'd look at each other and, you know, be like, Valjean, at last we see each other plain. And there's like this crosstalk and singing. So I show up to do it and I've got this background. Kevin's like got a loaf of bread, a flag that he printed out from online. And we actually had Bill Roth, who used to be the voice of the Virginia Tech Hokies, and is back now and does some ESPN games. He accompanied us on piano. And you've not learned about the limitations of Zoom until you've tried to sing with piano accompaniment on that platform.
Wow. I mean, that like Smartless has nothing on you guys.
Or something like that.
Well, I'll come up with a good request for the next time we have you on TV. I'll do this secret admission right now because my kids give me a hard time. I'm not a boy band. I never really liked the boy bands, but I kind of like BTS. You know that song Butter?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're catchy. I like them. So
a lot of people
can work on something. Smooth.
I could
like butter.
BTS.
Yeah. All right. We'll figure something out. Anyway,
I love it.
This isn't the platform for it. This is to I don't know what it is, but anyway, I appreciate all the time. Excited to see you again this summer, especially for that one day that you're in Kansas City for that 1 day series.
We're gonna be so salty that day.
Yeah. The good news is if we get rained out, we can make it up not as a double header, but as a single header.
Yeah, great.
You know it's coming.
It is definitely coming.
All right. Well, this will air after your night tonight, but have fun with Stoney and all the tributes. I'm sure they'll be good. I'll try to catch it. If we have another rain delay tonight, it'll entertain me. Otherwise, I'll watch it after. So
I hope for clear skies for you, Joel.
And the same to you every day, always, no doubt about it. Jason, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joel.